Hello, everyone. I'm Buford MC, and welcome back to another adventure in GregTech New Horizons. So, today we are going to be working with a couple of coke ovens. Well, I say a couple of coke ovens, it's actually a ton of coke ovens because we have a grand total of 24 coke ovens that we need to be setting up today. And we're going to need to start getting them working and processing all of the wood that we're getting from our crop manager. And we're going to be getting a ton of creosote oil and charcoal, which we are going to be using very soon to increase our steam production. So I've been hard at work and kind of preparing all of this behind the scenes a bit. And today we're going to actually set it all up. And we should get everything going up today, I think. So let's get started. So what I have done already is I've already placed down our 24 different coke ovens over here, and we've got a whole bunch of stuff over here, which we'll go over, as we go here. But basically what we have is we have 24 coke ovens. Now, you're probably wondering, I only see 16 coke ovens in this area right here. Where's the 24 coke ovens? Well, if we come downstairs, actually, you will find out that we have another 8 coke ovens actually set up down here as well. So we have a grand total of 24 coke ovens, and all of these coke ovens are going to be processing wood. And in fact, you probably noticed that we already have this side of our coke ovens processing wood. And basically what I've done is I've already set up everything on this side of the coke ovens, and we're going to do this side together so you kind of see what I have done over here. So this is basically what we need to get done today. So when it comes to the coke ovens, there's really 3 things we need to think about. So the first thing we need to think about is we need to think about importing wood into our various coke ovens. So we have our barrel over here, which is doing really well. It's completely full up with spruce logs at this point, which it is getting from our crop manager up above. And this barrel is collecting all the wood, and we need to send that wood into our coke ovens. So what I have is I have a pipe, which is covered right now with the plates, so you don't actually see it, but it's a pipe connected to this barrel here, and with a conveyor module attached to it, and it is pumping out our wood into the pipe, and that pipe network is connected to these coke ovens over here. Now, for these over here, I actually have a separate connection point, and we'll have to attach a conveyor. That one's actually going down below. It's going to go underneath and across over to there. So we've got 2 separate kind of directions things are going to come out from here, which should, I think, work out. So hit everything. It should just keep everything stocked up and running. So that's the first thing we need to think about. We need to get wood into our coke ovens, which I've already done all that here. But then you have to think about what you're going to get from this. So when we have our logs inside of coke ovens, we're going to get 2 things. We're going to get an item, and we're going to get a fluid. So we're going to get charcoal, and we're going to get creosote oil. So we have to get these out in different ways because one's, of course, an item and one's a fluid. So what we have to do then is we have to start using, fluid pipes and item pipes and different stuff like that. Now, there's a couple of ways that we could have gone by taking care of this issue, and I've kind of ended up having to opt for the more expensive route. Well, it's not the most expensive route, but initially I was talking about how we could try and use redstone in order to deal with this, particularly getting the fluids out, but I kind of decided against that. I did try to design that, and I tried quite hard, actually, to design something for that, but it just wasn't working out the way I had hoped it would, so I kind of ended up deciding to just go with pumps. So we are going to have to use 24 pumps in order to set this all up. I've already got 12 of them installed on this side, but we are able to cheapen the price of getting the items out a little bit, and the reason is because, as you can see here, we have hoppers, which are basically taking the items out of the coke ovens, and they can automatically push into the pipes. So that's basically how we're doing this. We're using pumps in order to get the fluids out, and we're using hoppers in order to get the items out. Now, there is actually one exception to that in terms of the items. So the way I built this down here is these are on the ground level, so we're actually going to use conveyor modules for at least this floor of the coke oven. So we're actually, if we come up here, we're using conveyor modules to get these out. So it is a little bit different down here just because I built them on the ground level, and hoppers, of course, you can only take it from directly below. So that's how we have these coke ovens running, and that's what we're going to go ahead and set up with the other 12 coke ovens. So we're going to have to do this kind of step by step, and in fact, I probably wanted to go back down there, but I can get down there, I think, from here. So I've already prepared a couple of things. We've got hoppers, we've got pipes, conveyor modules and the pumps. So what we're going to do is we're going to need to start by pumping the wood into these coke ovens over here. So if we come actually down here, I do have a second pipe connection from that bale, as I said. Now, we haven't attached the conveyor module yet, but we'll do that after we hook all this part up. So we have this pipe here, goes along here, and now what we need to do is we need to extend you across like this, and we're going to keep that going. Now, with these pipes right here, the item pipes, I don't think you have to put the directional arrows on them, so we're going to have you come along until right there. That's good. Let's grab our wrench, and you're going to go up. And then I think we'll be able to do the... Well, actually not yet. We'll have to send you up as well. And then we're going to have to come down a bit so that we can pump into these two coke ovens. We'll send you down a little bit. And we'll put those two in. Perfect. All right, so now we'll head on back up and we'll connect up the other coke ovens. All right, here we go. So then we can connect these up right here. Now, we have to be careful, of course, while we do all of this. So I already know what we need to do, but again, we need all of the different spaces back here because we need to, we need to utilize our space here effectively with these coke ovens. And that was part of the issue when I tried to use the redstone for some of this to try and cheapen stuff a little bit. That was kind of part of the issue. It was more so a space thing. But it still works. Let's go jump up here a little bit. We're going to do that, and then I think we can connect you there and there. And then there and there, I think that'll work. In fact, it doesn't even have to be connected there. Let's do it to the bottom part. Not sure what I did with this one, actually. I mean, it doesn't really matter, I suppose. Alright, so we got that one connected up, and then we'll go ahead and do you. And we'll jump on top of here. Oh, that's the wrong one. One more. Alright, connect you up as well. Let's actually change this to be on the top one. Doesn't really matter, like I said, but we might as well do that one. I think that is what I did with this. I just can't quite remember. I can't tell either, because all these other pipes are kind of in the way. Alright, so we should have all of that prepared. So now all we need to do is I'm going to need a conveyor module. And we're going to need to attach one up there. I don't think I can actually reach that from here anyway, so actually let's head back up. We'll just have to take a piece of the floor out so that we can actually access that. Yeah, right there, that should do. And then we'll attach you right there. And I think it's set to be on import is what we're going to need it to be. All right, let's grab that block and put it back. And then we'll go ahead and see if that's actually doing anything for us yet. Yep, well, looks like it is. There we go. Perfect. So this one is starting to get wood. Of course, it's going to take 20 seconds for that thing to push a stack. So it's going to take a little bit for these to start activating. So we should start to see those slowly start lighting up here. But first one's working, so that is a good sign. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that. But it should work. Everything should be connected up. Yep, those look connected, and those look connected. All right, so now we're going to need to focus on the next layer, which is going to be getting the items out. So that's where we're going to use our hoppers. Now, again, I could have used conveyor modules up here, but hoppers work just as good. So what we're going to do is in the middle. So the back kind of layer here is dedicated to inputting the items. The middle layer is going to be getting the items out, and then the front layer here is going to be how we get the fluid. That's how I did it over here. So we're going to set up hoppers on these areas here. And if we use a wrench, we can set the little, direction that they push. So we got those set up, and then we're going to have a pipe in the middle. Make sure that that is connected up. And of course, we don't want it to connect to that, I don't think. Because I don't want the wood and all that stuff to kind of start intermingling. So we're going to go ahead then and connect that up. And then that is going to start to come down We are starting to see more of these coke ovens light up, which is perfect. Alright, so we got that, and we're going to go ahead and head down further. So we've got more hoppers here. Gotta put those onto these guys. Of course, set the way that they are. I can get that. Go. There we go, perfect. Alright, so we got that, and now we should just come down like this. Have to make sure also, this is something I got almost tripped up on before. Make sure those pipes there are connected to those hoppers, because I noticed at one point one of these pipes over here wasn't connected to the hopper, so it wasn't actually doing anything. So that is something we have to be a little bit careful about. Do the same for you. And where's that at? There we go. So all of that should be hooked up now. And then what we're going to want to do as well is we're also going to need to get these going. So these are just going to be done through simple conveyors, I think. And we are starting to run out of tin pipes as well, so we're going to have to be careful about that. But how did I do that over here, actually? I put the hoppers actually in a different spot here, I just noticed, but I don't think it's actually going to be too big of a deal. I just noticed that, but we should be fine. So, we'll run it along here, I think. Yeah, we can do that. That'll work. Yeah, put that like that, and then we'll run you along here. I think we are going to have to get a small refill here of these pipes. Just a little bit, though. Yeah, hook you up like that. All right, so all of this should already be hooked up a little bit now. And then we just need to go ahead then and get the conveyor modules on here. Put you there and put you there. And in fact, let's also go to sleep as well, since it is nighttime. And we do need all the steam we can get, because I am running the oil processing right now. And that's the main reason we need more power, because that does take up pretty much all the power I'm currently producing. So I need to make sure that we're stocked up on that. All right, so we got those hooked up, and I think all we need to do then is have you set to import. Should start taking stuff. And as you can also see, we are starting to get the charcoal into these pipes here. Ooh, these needs to be connected up as well. I cut you, and I think I still need to set these. Import. Import. That should be working with these, right? Yep, I don't see anything in there. Yep, there it is in the pipe. Perfect. All right, so all that's hooked up, and then we just need to connect you over to this pipe right here, because then that will take it over to where I had a barrel full of charcoal. So we are a little bit short on that. So, in fact, I can actually just do that like this, I think. Yeah, I'm literally like, what is that, like 2 pipes short? Alright, well, we can quickly go upstairs and make a few more pipes. That won't take too long, I don't think. I should have some tin plates laying around. In fact, we're going to need some, I believe. Because we're going to try and cover some of those pipes as well. Let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. Plenty of tin pipes. So, grab some of those and we'll make some pipes. Let's see. Tin item pipes. That should be more than enough. I think I'm just going to take those with me for now. Need the wrench as well. Alright, so we got some more tin item pipes. Go and head back down here. In fact, we're going to need to go further down as well. We'll finish hooking that up, and everything should start coming out, I believe. There we go. Let's, well, we'll keep an eye on that at least. We'll see. Everything should start working, though, with that, I believe. Yeah, I've already been running these for a little bit now, so they're already up to, what were they up to? 769, 12 stacks, so all that seems to be working. The way we can check this as well is by just taking a look at the hoppers and stuff. Now, something we do need to keep in mind is the pipe speed itself. Of course, is I think, what is it? 1 stack every 4 seconds. But it seems to be keeping up. In fact, this hopper's already empty. This hopper's already empty. The charcoal seems to be going. You still have 1 left. You have 2 left. And then a little bit more in these. Yeah, see, these actually seem to be going. So it seems to be pushing out these first, and it gets to these. Yeah, now these 2 are empty. So it's emptying out. It's getting there, it seems to be. So everything over here was working pretty well, so I think that should be just fine. Alright, so we got that taken care of. So now what we need to do is we need to turn our attention to the fluids. So this shouldn't be too difficult. Now this one I'll put the directional arrows on the pipe since that's what we do. And then, yeah, so what we're going to need to do is we're going to use this front layer right here. We're going to connect ourselves up some of these. And we'll go ahead and just set the pipes first. And then we'll put on the pumps and stuff. Oh, connect you up, and then send you down like that. There we go. And we need to connect these up as well. Alright, so we got that. Let's head down. In fact, I can just go down through here. We'll finish connecting all this up. Now, the way I am doing this part is this bottom section is going to come up. It's just going to join up right here, and then it's going to come out like this. That's how we're going to do that. And hello there. Now, you're one of those... Yeah, you have a lot of HP, don't you? Oh, fine, take you anyways. Yeah, the other guy that's going to do that Mirage thing, he didn't actually die there. Doesn't seem like he's bothering us anymore. That's fine. Alright, so let's continue working here. So, hook you up. Go, that should work, and then... In fact, you're actually going to come out this way, because that's the main pipe right there. So, that's quite good. So then we just have to connect this across like that, so that we can connect these areas up. That should be everything. Just get the little arrows on these. Alright, these should all be connected up, I think. So... That is quite good. So now all that should be left is to put on the pumps. We'll go ahead and start with these. In fact, let's put these all on here, and then... I think we need to turn these on to import. Yep, there we go. Pumps work a lot quicker, so... we get more immediate results with those compared to the conveyor module. So as you can see, all these are now completely empty. I'm not sure why you've got 2 charcoal in you, but that seems to be fine. And then we need to put the other 8 pumps up here. So we got that. Put you there, you there, you there, and you there. And then over here, you there, you there, you there, and you there. Alright, so that should be quite good. And then now we just need to go ahead and put this to import. Of course, all of these go to import. Yep, and they're all emptying out of the creosote oil they have, and then we just do that to these 4 over here as well. Alright, lovely. Alright, so we seem to have all of that prepared there. So now all of these coke ovens look like they're empty now on creosote oil, so that should be good, and it should all be coming into this giant iron tank over here. As you can see already, it is coming in, so that's quite good. Alright, so it looks like all of these should be set up and ready to go. Just quickly check them again. So the hopper's empty, you're empty. These guys seem fine. Yeah, seems perfectly fine there. And then, I don't think I can actually get down here anymore. Let's head down through the main way, and then quickly check on that one more time. Check on these 4, to be exact. And again, these are not going to push out the charcoal as quickly because they're doing the conveyor module, so it'll take a couple of seconds, but that's why this one still has a charcoal in it, I'm sure. Yeah, the hoppers here seem to be fine. A little harder to see them, though. Yeah, seems to be getting through everything, though. Seems to be working as I had hoped, so that's quite good. A little bit more of an expensive thing, though, of course, than I had hoped it would be. You know, I tried to make it a little bit cheaper with redstone stuff, but it's working out. As long as it works, that's all that matters, no matter the cost. Alright, so now we should be able to go ahead and try and at least make this look a little bit better. We're gonna need some blocks, I think. I think what we can go ahead and do is... that's interesting right there. Those pipes are a little bit lower than these over here. Well, what we can do, actually, is I can go ahead probably and plug this up here. That was a wall. I think that looks good. And then we'll do the same here. Do something like that. I probably won't cover these up right here just yet, just to make sure everything seems to be working well, but I'll probably do that eventually, and then we can also probably do something like this. And start putting on some of these plates here. So I've got these tin plates, which we can cover the pipes with. And we can do the same thing over here as well, I think. And put these on as well. And, you know what? I don't actually see a reason why we shouldn't just cover this up. We're gonna need a couple more of those blocks as well. Got some of these, I can just chisel that. And that should be perfect right there. Alright, there we go. And we can cover that up as well. Cover that up, and then cover that up. There we go, and that looks quite good, actually. I'm quite happy with how that turns out. Yeah, so there we go. We've got ourselves 24 coke ovens set up and running, and we're getting a tons of creosote oil and a ton of charcoal. Now, there is another thing we still need to set up, actually. So, this barrel over here is actually temporary because we don't actually just want charcoal. What I want to get, actually, is charcoal blocks, since those are a little bit more compact. So, what we're going to do is we're going to need a compressor. And we'll also, actually, before we go up there, we're also going to need a way of powering that compressor. Now, I could just use steam to power it up. You know, we've got plenty of steam down here. But we also can use creosote oil for power a little bit. So, actually using the compressor doesn't use much power at all. I think it's like 2 EU a tick, so it's hardly any power at all. So, what we can actually do, I think, is we can use creosote oil for power. Now, interestingly, there's 2 ways you can use it. We could use a combustion generator, which gives us 8,000 EU for 1,000 millibuckets of creosote oil. But we can also use a semi-fluid generator, which is 1,000 millibuckets of creosote oil, and we get 48,000 EU, which is, I believe, 6 times the amount of the combustion generator. So, I don't know why these are different, but as far as I can tell, semi-fluid generator is going to be the way to go. So, we need to make that. So let's go ahead on up and make ourselves a semi-fluid generator, and then we'll try and hook all of that up. Oh, hello there. Ah, that must have been from that Enderman. Picked up a dirt block and dropped it down in the middle of the base. That does happen occasionally. Alright, so we're going to make ourselves the semi-fluid generator. So it isn't the cheapest thing, but we do need Tembaga gears, so it's going to be a little bit of some Tembaga needed. And I'm very low on tembaga, but should be fine. And then we need ourselves the gear. Go. The gear mold, I think we can put that in. That should give us those two. And then let's go see what else we need. So, semi-fluid generator. Oh, we're missing only the gears. Perfect. Alright, so that's a good sign. And then we also need the compressor, which I should have one in here. There we go. Basic compressor. And I guess I can actually take this right here down as well, I just noticed. I've already took most of the stuff we had over here down. It was our initial coke oven setup, just so we could start kind of getting these things fed with a bunch of charcoal blocks. So I don't need you anymore. In fact, I guess that's the only thing I had left there. A little bit of charcoal in there as well, but we don't need it anymore. Alright, I'll put you away in there for now. And then we need to grab the tembaga gears, which should be in here. Alright, and now give us the semi-fluid generator. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make it. Don't know if this is a quest or not, but here we go. Ooh, hello. It's like a fluid, but it's not. Ah, it is a quest as well. Putting the semi back into generator's LV. So where's that quest at, then? It's not an LV. Ah, how to generate power. Okay, so this one right here, we get that one, and it give us some coins and heavy fuel cells. Alright, we'll put those cells in with some of our other cells. I think we had that one, actually. There we go. And then I got a couple of coins. We got a compressor. We got our semi-fluid generator. So now I need some pipes, because we're going to need to actually pipe in some of that. What do we have? Do we want to use potent pipes? Yeah, let's use some potent pipes, actually. It's a little big, but it should be fine. In fact, actually, maybe we'll use the small ones. I'm trying to think, because we're going to need to pipe the creosote oil into the actual tanks that we're going to need. Well, not tanks, what are they? The boilers, because we're trying to get these things for the RailCraft boilers, so... I'm honestly debating it. Small potent pipes are cheaper, but 2,000... 6,000. You actually have a lot of steel pipes as well. Those are 4,800. Let's just go with the normal potent pipes. It's not that expensive. Potent's not that hard to get. So let's go ahead then and set all of this up. So I'm going to need my dolly as well, because we are going to need to move you out. We're going to put in the basic compressor, which is, we're just going to directly pump the charcoal into you for now. And then we're going to also need to set the semi-fluid generator up, which is going to go right there. We'll have you pumping power in there, and then we need to go ahead and get you set up. So let's go ahead. Get down here, and then that's you, and we just need to pipe this in from where we have our output for the creosote oil, which is here. And we're just going to have to pump it into there. Like that. Let's get the little arrows on it first, and then we'll connect it all up. In fact, that one is not connected, so let's just do that quick. There we go. And that should be off and running, I think. Yep, sounds like it is. There we go. So we're getting charcoal block every 15 seconds. Now I'm going to have to move you. And I might put you up there. We might keep that running, because this takes 15 seconds for one charcoal block. And we are going to be getting, I think, every 90 seconds, we're going to be getting 24 pieces of charcoal. So this thing's not going to be running constantly. So they'll eventually get through that backlog there. But we're going to need, I think, another bale. Do I have one on me? Yep, there we go. We're going to need another bale right here. And I'm going to break that. And put that there. And then we're going to need to set you to item auto output, the charcoal blocks. And do I have an extra conveyor on me? Doesn't look like it. Let's go grab a conveyor module, because I'll keep that thing running for now so that we can get some of those charcoal blocks from all the charcoal we've already made. And in fact, I've actually got some more charcoal we might be able to add to that if we want to, but I don't think we need to. Let's see. Ooh, I got no conveyor modules right now. All right, there we go. We got one there. Let's go ahead then and hook that thing up. And then I actually have a couple more things I want to make as well before we end off for today. So let's go ahead and put that there. Put you on top, and that should be set to import, I believe. think. Yeah, it should be set to import, I believe. Yeah, it just takes 20 seconds for you to find out. Yep, there we go. So that will keep on running now so we can get through all the extra charcoal here. And again, this is only 2 EU. It takes hardly any power at all, so shouldn't be too bad. Semi-fluid generators are back here with the creosote oil. In fact, what we can also do, I think just to clean this up a little bit, is... Where are my blocks? Guess we're missing some, so let's actually grab some of these as well and chisel that. What else we can also do, I think, just to make it look a little bit nicer, is... Yeah, plug that up right there. And kind of hide this away as well, I think. And... could also do something like this, I think, as well. That looks okay. I guess I didn't need these windows on the back side here, though, did I? I could change that at some point. We'll see. That looks okay for now, I think. Again, this thing's going to fill up as well, so I think it's quite good. So the good thing about this is we'll be getting extra charcoal blocks as well. In fact, we need to lock this as well. And again, because for the 2 big ovens, so in fact, let's go visit that quest as well for a moment, because we're going to need to do that. That's the next step of all of this, so... Where's that at? Bio for the masses. We're trying to get these 2 big ovens right here set up, and it tells us we need... I think it was 19 coke ovens in order to get this thing running. In fact, it was right here. It's this quest that tells us that. So it tells us that we need 19 coke ovens. And we have 24 because I do want to get a little bit extra charcoal so that we can keep the blast furnaces running to get more steel. And, of course, we're also going to get a little bit extra creosote oil as well, so that's why we can get away with powering this guy using creosote oil as well. So, yeah, that's kind of how all of this seems to be running, and I'm quite happy with it. So, before we end off for today, I also want to do some small preparations for being able to make these 2 big ovens here. So, we actually don't have any of this, and there's a quest, of course, for them right here, but there also is a quest for it. Where was it at? Right here. Multi-block goals. So I think we've had these for a while now, but there's some quests to make these. This is just to make a single one of them. So I think that's what we're going to try and do. I want to get those quests knocked out just so we can do that now. And then I think we'll go ahead and end off the episode for today. So let's go ahead actually and bookmark these. So this one is the solid fuel boiler firebox. And this one here is the liquid fuel boiler firebox. Right, so we don't need you anymore, so we need to make this guy here. So to make this, we're going to need a cauldron. And eventually I'm going to need quite a few of these, so I'm going to need a lot of cauldrons and a lot of iron furnaces or blast furnaces. We should have some extra iron furnaces sitting around. Wonder if we... Oh, yep, we have some cauldrons as well. Perfect. Alright, so we've got some of those sitting around. What else do we need? We are going to need some bricks, and then we're going to need... this bronze firebox casing. Okay, so we're going to need some bronze rods in that case. Don't know if we actually have some already prepared. Looks like we had a couple, but we can get a few more going. Let's go to sleep as well, since it is nighttime. And then we're going to have to grab, I think, a couple of bricks as well in order to make some of this. We only need the one for these quests. I'll just grab that stack for now, since I am going to need to make some more. So, grab... bronze rods are coming in. Oh, that's the bending machine. Whoops. We need to put that in the lathe. My bad. How long does that take anyways? 19 seconds? Alright, then let's actually... we'll just do them manually for now. Bronze isn't too hard to come by. Alright, we'll do some of that for now. 28. So how much do we need for these? We just need 2 of these, really, for now. I'll need some more later. Put the rest of these in here, actually. Try to keep that as an even number because you get these small dusts. So, we have 28, and then we needed some of those firebox casings, the flame boxes. Alright, that should be good. We got you. We've got you, because we only need 2 of those for now. 1, 2, and then we're going to need to make these. So this is the liquid-fueled boiler firebox, and this is going to be the solid-fueled boiler firebox, and that should be 2 quests right there. So these are basically, I think, the bottom of the boilers right here. Yep, so there we go. And then these quests are for the top. Now, for our big boilers, I'm going to go with low-pressure ones at this point because, of course, that's what we're going to be able to feed because this one's going to give us a lot more, but we're going to need a lot more resources. But we might as well get both these quests knocked out. We only need 1 for these, so it's not too bad. We need iron screws and casings, or we can use an assembler, and we just need the casings. So we need 6 iron casings, and I assume for you, we're going to need 6 steel casings, but that's MV, so we actually have to do that recipe. All right, so casings are not that bad. Let's go ahead and dump off these tin pipes. Not pipes, plates. We're just going to need a couple of these. I think it's 3 each to get 6. Throw those inside of a cutting machine. That doesn't take long at all, and that's quite good. Alright, so we got all of that. Still got plenty of potent, that's good. And there's our iron casings coming in, and then I need to put you in so we can start getting the steel casings. We'll start getting everything there. Alright, so let's clean our inventory a bit. Put some stuff I don't need at the moment away. You there, I don't need you. Charcoal, I'll put you in there for now. You can go in there. We'll fold up our dolly for the moment and put you in there. That should be all of that. There's our iron casings, and there is, in fact, we can go ahead and make that right now, since we only need to put that, yep, circuit 6. And again, when we make the actual big boilers, we're going to need a lot of this. You know, it looks easy just to do these quests, but you can make them as, I think, a 1x2, but for the max size, which is what we're going for, we're going to need, I think it's like a 3x4x3 or something like that. Where's the quest at? Keep getting lost in the quest book. Fire for the masses. So we're going to need a lot of these right here. Let's see if it tells us. Yeah, 3x4x3. So we're going to need to make, what, we're going to need 72 since we're making 2 of them, along 9 of the fireboxes of each type. So, yeah, it's quite expensive to make these. So there's the low pressure one. That should be a quest. Maybe not. Let's go back over here and see. Oh, I had to craft it. Oh, man. Okay. All right, well, we'll get the steel one at least. In fact, let's go ahead and get some iron plates then. Okay, well, you have to craft it. That's kind of interesting. Okay, let's go ahead and do that for now. Well, I need more of them anyways, thankfully. I don't need just one, but we'll at least have, we have to craft the high-pressure one at least. So there you go. There's a high-pressure one. So that one will count since I crafted it. Yep, and now we should just wait for 2 more iron casings and we'll be able to craft one of those up as well. Okay, so that was all we needed to do there. There we go, and we should be able to craft that up, and that should be that done. Low pressure, and there we go. That should complete a quest. Lovely. All right, well, I'm going to put these away in... I'll put those there for now. We don't need the high pressure one, so I'll put that there. Put you there. Where's the other firebox gone? Did I not make the liquid? Did I put it in here? Oh, I know where it went. Yeah, it went in there. Alright, put you in there, and then we'll put those in there. Put you there. Alright, so we got all of that taken care of, and now let's go ahead and claim our quests. So we did get that one. That just gives us some plates and fig jelly sandwich, some coins. You give me some creosote oil cells. Not really sure we need more of that right now. And then steam age loot bag, why not? We can get another loot bag. And this one we get meat feast pizza baguettes, and we'll do another loot bag as well. Any other quests that we need to turn in? Doesn't look like it. So these are only steam age. We could upgrade it to an LV one. I think we're kind of past steam age one. Let's upgrade it to LV, why not? I think we just put you in there. Yep, that'll give us an LV loot bag in 10 seconds. We should get that in just a moment. Yep, there we go. We can go ahead then and open that up and see what we get. Let's see what we get from this. Oh, we got a cheese sandwich. I think we got some iron. We got bronze and red alloy. We got a couple of ingots. Not too bad. All right, well, I think that's kind of everything we wanted to get done for today. So we got all these coke ovens set up, and it does look like everything's running quite well. We're getting tons of creosote oil at this point. We're getting a decent amount of charcoal as well. The charcoal blocks are starting to slowly fill in. Of course, it's processing all this as well, but that's quite good. And then all of this should be running. The other question also I had was how much wood were we going to use? Now, it's going to drop off quicker initially here because it has to fill these all up, but I'll have to keep an eye on this to make sure that we're producing enough wood up there to keep up. So I can't really tell right now, actually. I didn't actually pay attention to that earlier, but I'll keep an eye on it. But it does look like everything is coming out. I'm not seeing anything still in there, so it's a good sign overall. So yeah, I'm quite happy with how this turned out. Looks like it's all working as I hoped, so I think that is where we're going to leave this episode. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.